In NetMiner, we can construct complex statements which will help us search through our knowledge graph. And much like that, in PubMed and other services, we use adjoining words like and, not, or. We can also put things in brackets too to construct more complex statements. In the case of using the and, we will search for genes linked to both concept A and B. So in this case, coronavirus and remdesivir. Whereas using or, we will search for genes linked to either coronavirus or remdesivir.
So this is useful if I wanted to see what kind of different biological concepts exist. And I can also add genes to my gene list and delimit them by a new line, as I'm doing here with ACE2 and a few different immune-related genes. It's important to note that we are limited to 100 genes, and we can also search by entering the start and stop position and the gene name in addition to labeling it for a view on the chromosome map. So just click search and we're given a gene view, and we have the evidence with all the biological concepts, and we can click on a singular accession to view the gene's knowledge graph, or we can click on multiple in a select column and then see the crossover of interactions in that particular knowledge graph. Additionally, I can also view what evidence is present in my knowledge graph that's related to my search. So here we can see as a drug, remdesivir is related to ACE2. I can also view my publications with the different proteins. Now I want to switch over to a different query to show how I can filter my gene view based on particular biological concept. So at the top we have all of the different biological concepts, and if I were to click them, it will filter it based on that particular biological concept. So in this case I click the trait for GRAS traits, and I'm left with all the genes related to GRAS traits and our keyword search for the drugs. So I'm going to click on two different genes here and see their crossover interaction. And this is a knowledge graph we're given, so they're both related to a GRAS trait from two separate SNPs. And I can right click the biological concept to do different things with it. So in this case I want to put a label on, which I can also do with the drop down menu. Likewise, I can also change the label size from the drop down menu, and if I want to add all the biological concepts, I just click the binoculars. Adjacent to the binoculars is a info box. And what I can also do is I can right click on my edges and click on show info. And in doing so, I will see all the information related to that particular relationship. So if I want to look at the relationship with chloroquine in this particular publication, I will just click on my show info box, and here we can see where the text was extracted, and I can go into my publication and look at the information, and there is my accession to view the paper on PubMed. I can also do the same for other biological relationships, such as with my SNP. I can look at the SNP information, I can look at the GRAS information related to the trait, and I can also go to the paper where the GRAS was conducted on PubMed, as you can see from the accession that is highlighted here. So let's add all of our biological concepts. And you'll also notice in addition to this we have an interactive legend. So if I want to remove a particular biological concept, I just need to double click it, as I've done here with my protein domains, and click it once again to add it back again. And on a touchscreen, all you need to do is swipe down on the concepts on the interactive legend and tap it once to add the concepts back in. And I can do this with any of my biological concepts, and it will tell me how many of the concepts are present on the graph, how many should also be there if we were to add everything, and I have an overview of the total number of concepts and relationships at the very bottom below the interactive legend. So another thing that I can do is I can make the screen bigger if the network is too small by clicking the far left button on the toolbar, and I can relay out my network each time using the reload button until I get the desired layout that I want, or I can manually move my concepts. And another feature of NetMiner is that I can save my knowledge graph to work on later. So this is using our secondary platform called NetSpace, so I just need to sign in, which you can also do at the right hand corner and tell me I'm signed in. Now I save my network, I give it a name or a description.
So I'm going to call it CD40 underscore ABL1, and I'll put as my description that it's an interaction network.
So I'll wait, it's been saved. And now I'm given the pop-up saying it's in NetSpace. So I'll click on that, I'll be taken to NetSpace, and then I'll click on my network here. And just for demonstrative purposes, I will show you that I can also view it the same as I would in NetMiner, except in this case I can edit it, resave it, whichever layout I wanted. I can share it with people and allow them to collaborate and edit it too. So now what I'd like to show is the map view, and I'm going to change our keyword search to immune, just for the demonstrative purposes of showing what is present on our map view. And so we'll search for that. And then we click on our map view, and I'm given a SNP legend with all of the different SNP traits related to our particular keyword. So we see immune, and of course that is related to immune response to smallpox, vaccine, and so on and so forth. And it's all color coded in correspondence with what is present on chromosome map. So we have chromosome 18, and it's showing we have immune response to smallpox vaccine and Epstein-Barr virus copy number in the lymphoblastoid cell lines. That's somewhere related to genes on that particular chromosome, and we can have a look at all of the different chromosomes. So moving on as well, I also want to show what's present on the evidence views. So going back to our drug search, click on evidence view, and we're showing all of the different drugs that have been found on a knowledge graph and the number of total genes related to them. So we can click any of the hyperlinked genes. So we'll go for a small one, methylprednisolone acetate, which is a corticosteroid injectable form. And this is our knowledge graph, which is related to the drug, and the drug, which is related to publications, which of course are related into all of the genes. So this is our evidence view knowledge graph, and it just gives us an overview of all the genes related to our drug. So that really concludes our tutorial for NetMiner. There will be a separate tutorial for NetSpace, which, as I mentioned, is our other platform for storing all of our knowledge graphs. And of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to email us. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button to see future videos on NetMiner and NetSpace.